one of the most important keys to life on this earth is the soil. That's what we want to talk about today. And I'm sitting here in a wooded area. Behind me is a pile, basically a pile of dead leaves, a huge pile of dead leaves and trees that have been piled up by the people that manage this woodland area behind me. It's massive. I'm actually on the back side of it. And this is a place where people come and actually take some of the decomposed organic matter, the leaves and the sticks and stuff, which has become compost, and they take it back, including myself, take it back to their gardens and farms and wherever. Okay, and so this is a perfect backdrop to understand the importance of soil and how soil and trees, plants in general, are the solution to most, if not all, of certainly the environmental issues that we have on this planet, particularly the man-made ones, as well as to many of the other issues that we may have, including things like health, energy, well-being. It's plants and soil, because you cannot have one without the other. It's like fish and the sea. That is a master solution to solving the world's problems. And we're going to talk about that. They say that there's a soil problem worldwide. They say that the soil is being eroded increasingly, that topsoil is being lost increasingly, especially due to the industrialization of farming. Okay, and as farming becomes more industrialized, you get more machinery that's used, and with the use of this machinery, you're going to get the destruction, more harsher methods that end up releasing or making the topsoil basically get lost, so it can get blown away. You can also remove that topsoil layer by turning it over, and then ends up kind of destroying the soil biology of the topsoil, so the topsoil no longer functions as topsoil because it's not topsoil anymore. You can get things like runoff, which happen. The desertification is happening, which is going to cause soil to blow away. Soil and soil health and soil quality is a huge concern worldwide. Okay? And so scientists are going to tell you that. So restoring soil and having good soil health and promoting and creating environments that nurture and facilitate soil growth. Yes, I said soil growth is important, especially as the world faces these serious major challenges such as climate change and so on. Okay, I just want to fix that camera. So, life, soil is a living thing. I wouldn't say a living organism, but it is a living thing because it's a complex ecosystem made up of abiotic and biotic factors that is dynamic and interacts with each other. Okay? And so that soil life, that soil, organism, if you want to call it that, is going to be vital and is vital to today. Right now, where I'm sitting, I'm in an urban area, believe it or not, but this is a woodland. And trust me, right now, I think it's August 10th, 2022, outside on the street, on the roadside, is very hot. Very, very hot, right into the 80s. Okay, I'm in London, so 80s might not sound hot for other places, but it is hot, right? It's considered a heat wave right now. But right where I am in this part of the city, to be honest, I I would say more of a suburban, slightly urban, but more of a suburban area. But right now where I am, it's very, very cool. I can hear the breeze blowing through the trees. I can hear animals. And on the street, there's no animals around. It's just too hot. The birds have packed themselves away for now. They're hiding from the heat. They're not stupid. But in here, I can hear birds. I can hear the breeze blowing, and it just feels much cooler. And this is showing how the importance of having trees and having soil and what that will do and how important it's going to be, for example, to help us to mitigate those different things like the extreme heats and heat wave conditions that are going to come with climate change, especially in urban and semi-urban environments. At the base of this, like I said, fish live in the sea while trees live in soil, plants live in soil, okay? At the base of this ecosystem with these woodlands around me is this soil. And right now, this soil is being created out of this dead material, the leaves and the different, because in London every year it's in a temperate climate, and a lot of the leaves are deciduous, so they get lost in the wintertime and they fall down. They have to be, raked up and stuff like that, and they're piled up behind me, as well as, obviously the bark and different dead material from different trees. And what that is doing is breaking down, okay, and it's composting. It's nothing complex, although the biology and the chemistry within it can be quite complex. But the basic idea of it is the organic material is being broken down and it's forming new soil. And that's why many people come to this area and they come and dig out. This is a big hole behind me where they're digging out this composted material to take back to their garden plots and their allotments and different places like that, because that soil now has been enriched. It's basically the trees giving up themselves, the trees and the plants giving up themselves on an ongoing, continual basis. Okay, quid pro quo. Trees do photosynthesis. They take in that carbon dioxide. They combine that with water and use the sun to create glucose, food for themselves, and they grow. And then they decompose, give off their leaves, which have stored sugar during the summer months and the winter months. They give off the leaves and they give that back. Those leaves contain, nitrogen, which they've taken from the soil and from the air. They contain other minerals as well, obviously carbon as well, okay? And that now decomposes and we get the soil being formed. So there is life that's in these trees and these plants and these grasses. There's nowhere on earth that you're going to find life that you don't find plants. The most prolific areas of living things, whether it be the tropical rainforest, whether it be the coral reefs, which is at the basis of a coral reef, is the plankton, that microorganisms that live inside the coral structure, symbiotic algae that live inside, plankton, excuse me, the symbiotic algae that live inside the coral organisms, okay, which are producers, they're plants basically, okay. Whether you go to a beautiful pond that has so much life and fish in it, you're going to find algae and plants at the basis of that, okay. Whether it's a river, plants are synonymous with life, and plants, trees and grass are the key to the health of not just this planet, but to us as a human species. And they hold the solution to solve the majority, like I said, most if not all of the world's problems, whether that be energy through biofuel, for example, whether that be through well-being, coming to parks and stuff like that. Studies show that the difference between people in urban environments that have trees in their urban environment compared to places that do not, whether it relates to rainfall, whether it relates to, we talk about indoor air quality, moderation of outdoor air quality. No matter what you think the problem is, desertification, it's trees and plants that are the solution to that. That's why I really made this video. And we have to understand on the next level that there's a spirituality, obviously, that's attached to environments that are rich in these kindred spirits that we call plants and trees and grass. That's on the next thing. But in this case, I'm focusing on the soil. So we have this process where we have the trees, we have the sticks and the leaves, and they come down and they decompose, and they end up decomposing and forming the soil. Now, the real solution, okay, the real secret to why soil is such a magical thing is that, yes, it has the organic material. Yes, it has that organic material that's very important, okay? Meaning the carbon. The carbon is very important, yes. But if I took you back here and we looked at the soil, you can see it from here. You can see that it has that organic material, but it's also very, very moist, okay? So that soil, that rich soil is gonna, good soil has organic material, it has minerals, but it also has moisture as well. It links back to the 5 elements. The ancients always talked about the 5 elements: fire, air, water, earth. Okay? So the earth is the organic material. Okay? The air is the oxygen. So good soil has structure to it. Okay? So it has pockets of air at a microscopic level and a macroscopic level. Okay? So we said the earth, which is the organic material, the air, okay, and then that water, that moisture, okay, that ability to retain moisture. Poor soil, especially that which is what's happening with desertification, drains very easily. Soil water evaporates very easily from it, and thereby it doesn't really promote life. On the other hand, soil that's too moist and too much, it gets too flooded, for example, doesn't hold oxygen. It doesn't allow the air pockets to be in there. Those air pockets will fill with water. Okay, so it's that moisture that's very important. Okay, and the real secret to soil and the real partners in this struggle that we're having environmentally, it's us as the higher organisms, quote unquote higher organisms, more complex organisms like humans and deer and so on and so on. It's the trees, which are our partners. But at the basis of all that is the bacteria. It's the microorganisms, the bacteria and the fungi, okay, that are in this soil. They hold the solution. They are the sort of like the seminal essence, to where that power of the soil is really coming from. When we take soil from places like this, and we take it to our gardens and things, yes, we're trying to take that moisture and that organic material and the minerals, but it's really the transfer of the micro organism community, okay, the microscopic community, that really has the most benefit to the soil health in those other areas. And that is what we need to create more. That is why we need trees more around the world. That's what's going to solve the problem. Having the diversity of the microscopic organism community, the microbiome, that's really at the heart of the solution and why soil is so powerful. Okay, and that's where the fire comes in, because we said the earth is the soil, we had the water, which is the moisture, okay, we had the air, which is the air within the soil, okay, and then you have that fire, that 4th element, which comes from the respiration, that comes from the living organisms themselves. That's the real heart of why soil is so powerful, and they're feeding off of that carbon and the sugars which are coming down with the organic material that the trees produce. That trinity, okay, that trinity of the trees, the microorganisms, and then the other more complex organisms like humans and animals and so on and so on, whether in the oceans, okay, or whether on land, that trinity is the key to life, and it's a key to solving the environmental problems that we have. And that's what I wanted to come here in this environment, which is like a sacred space. The temperature is cool, soil is being created, food is being created right next to me. These plants here, these are brambles or blackberries. They're just growing all over here. I don't know if I can reach one. I can reach one. They have thorns on them. Okay. Food is being created. I can actually see bird waste, bird poo in front of me on some of the sticks and branches, because they have been eating this. You know, I can see other forms of waste, maybe from foxes or other things, and towards the other parts of the soil. It's trees and soil that can act as the master key, to life on this planet, and to being the solution to all, most if not all, of the environmental problems that we have in existence today. And so let this be, from Dr. David Roots, an encouragement and a call for us to, it's a cliche, isn't it, but to get back to nature. Get back to nature, to interact with nature, to ground our children in the importance of being outside, in the importance of nature, in the importance of trees. There's going to be so much, governments are going to be forced into dealing with this climate change issue. I know where I am in London, one of the greatest cities in history and on earth right now. Major city like London. Climate change, heat waves is an issue they probably never thought they were going to be dealing with. It's London, after all, is known as the blighty, meaning a place where it's always gray and rainy. And now they're talking about heat waves, excessive heat waves, highest temperatures ever recorded. And the key to that, so simple. They're going to come up, because it's all about money, with all of these solutions. The simplest key to that is right above me. You can listen. You can hear the breeze blowing. You can see the leaves blowing. You can feel the cool temperatures. You can see the greenery. When outside, out of here, in the park, it's all brown. It's brown because it's all dry. When in here, it's all green. Everything's green and verdant. There's life, all from these trees. Let's plant trees, y'all. Let's plant trees. That's the solution. That's the master key. One of the master keys to life. Let's create soil and understand its importance. Dr. David Roots.